Hi, I'm Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest, turning construction brands into market leaders online. One of his advocacy, no other than Mr. Wes Towers. Welcome to Book 101, Mr. Wes, and can you please introduce more about yourself?
Thanks, Daniel. Fantastic to be here today. So I'm Wes Towers. I run Uplift 360, a website design and development company, and do SEO. But really, we make websites and we get them high on Google, and we do it mostly for construction companies.
Mr. Wes Towers, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. And today, let's talk about digital gaps in construction and deliver actionable solutions. And why do so many constructors believe a word of mouth is enough? And how does it mindset cripple their growth potential in today's market?
Yeah, sure. So word of mouth is a great way to build a business, and particularly in boom times where there's plenty of work out there. I don't know about all of the world, but here in Australia, we had quite a significant boom time for work for the construction industry. So they could rely on word of mouth. But right now, things are a little bit more difficult. So they need to fight a little bit harder and to ramp up their marketing efforts. And as most of us know, online is the way to go to market a business and to get the website done right. So there's so many businesses doing really well for a time when construction was booming. But now they're going, okay, we need to improve things to get more traction. The website's probably quite dated. Websites do date quickly because expectations change so fast. So slow websites, they're possibly not working very well on mobile devices, cell phones as some would call it around the world. Very slow and clunky, and the form's not working, and just a bit of a mess. So, and it's common because in a lot of industries, and construction it's certainly true of construction, people start as working in the field and they build themselves up to some sort of management role or something higher. So they're very practical and hands-on people, and that's their strength, but not necessarily online marketing, which changes so fast. So that's when it's important to bring people in to a specialist in the field.
Mr. West, what are the three most common flaws you see on a typical construction company websites that instantly repel potential clients?
Yeah, sure. So there's some basic ones that just the look and feel, it's not quite right. So it doesn't measure up. So if someone's building a quality product and then they go to the website and things look messy and broken, well, that's going to instantly repel people. But I've seen lots of even more simple issues than that, with contact forms just not working. So I had an inquiry the other day. Their website was built years ago, and they're looking to refresh it, and we discovered their contact form was just going nowhere. So I don't know how many leads or opportunities they missed out just simply because the website wasn't looked after. Lots of things are changing in the SEO world as well with AI. So SEO is search engine optimization. So it's an attempt to rank as highly as you can in Google. And with AI, as probably most of us have experienced now, if you search on Google, it'll have an AI answer. So there's less reason for someone to need to visit a website because the answer's on Google. So you need to make sure that the few people that do come to your website, they are engaged and they convert into a sale. So you've really got to make sure everything's spot on in your website these days, because you're going to get less people visiting. So you need to get them to make an inquiry if it's a service business.
Very well said, Mr. West. Very well said. Why do construction businesses struggle to capture, nurture, and convert online inquiries compared to other industries?
Yeah, so compared to a lot of industries, the sales time and process it can be quite long from that initial inquiry until the till someone's signing on the dotted line to purchase something, to if they're building a new home or whatever the case may be. So sometimes they're just not even able to track that right through, so they can't see where that initial engagement happened. So those sorts of things, it does become a challenge. So just basic recording of who's made an inquiry through the website can be really helpful, and just to track where they've come from and what they might have searched for can be a really good help. So if they've searched for something specific online and your website's shown up, well, that's a great advantage to know that, because that's and if that's the ideal kind of client, you can put more work into that sort of message on your website, because it's obviously engaging really well with the clientele.
Mr. West, how does a weak online presence force companies to compete only one price, eroding margins?
Sorry, I missed that a little bit.
How does a weak online presence force companies to compete only on price, eroding margins?
Yeah, that's right. It's absolutely a good point. Even in the question, you absolutely do compete. If you haven't got a clear and compelling message on your website that makes you unique in your niche, or niche as some people say in the world, here in Australia we say niche. If you're not really clear and specific in that clear message on the website, well, there's no compelling reason for people to make an inquiry. So they just go, if there's no compelling reason that makes you unique, then all they can do is shop on price. So that if there's nothing that stands out about you, all they can do is look at your price and compare it to the next few people, and they'll just pick the cheapest. And that's the last thing you want to do. You never want to be selected for your service, or if it's a product. We do a lot of building materials websites as well. The last thing you want to do is people buying you just because you're the cheapest, because it's it's always going to erode your profit margins, and things will get cheaper and cheaper, and you'll lose profitability. And we saw that with a lot of builders here in Australia went under because their margins just weren't enough. So a lot of businesses folded in recent times simply because of that issue. They didn't stand out enough, therefore they couldn't charge a good fee for their service.
Mr. West, why does a lack of recent projects, detailed case studies, or genuine client testimonials online make even skilled contractors seem risky?
Yeah, sure. So that's talking about social proof. So it's proof. So you can say all the positive things you want on your own website, but people know that's just you talking about your own company. But once other people are saying this positive things, so Google reviews or reviews anywhere, testimonials, case studies, if you can go to a website and see that there's projects that have been conducted for similar businesses or big reputable businesses, you're kind of leveraging on that reputation. So if people are saying nice things about you that you can't manufacture or doctor, then that'll help you stand out, because it's far more believable, that kind of messaging.
How are the tech-savvy contractors using digital tools to approach clients before the traditional pre-bid process even starts?
So to approach people, so there's CRM, so customer relationship manager tools are really great. I use Go High Level as a tool, which is a really fantastic tool, really cost effective and does a whole lot of things. I'm only using it for a small portion of what it can do, but just simple engagement tools. So, I mean, with AI, there's a whole lot of things you can do there. I have my phone answered through AI. I have the chatbot there on the website. There's just a whole bunch of streamlined ways to streamline a business, to reach out to clientele, to touch base with your existing customers, because you haven't got a database that you can call upon. So to send messages to, you're really leaving money on the table.
Mr. West, as a turning construction brands into market leaders online, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, the short term, it's about adjusting and keeping on top of all the AI changes that are happening. Back when I started my business, I read a wonderful book called The 4 Hour Workweek, which is obviously a really popular book, but it transformed the way I think about business to a large degree. So a lot of my thinking is around that thought process of Tim Ferriss in 4 Hour Workweek, just to streamline and to find simple solutions really to sometimes complex problems. So I didn't have any business training. I studied marketing and graphic design and those sorts of things, but to run a business, I didn't have that training. So to read the books about that really helped. I feel like I went off the question a little bit. But yeah, does that make sense?
Makes sense, Mr. West, and good luck to your goals and hoping for more and more and more success to your goals in life. And what would be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be like you?
Yeah, sure. So I would say just test and measure everything you do. So to try small. So you're minimizing your risk. So try your hand at something and test to see if it works, and then elaborate and take it further, and keep evolving your business, because there's always new opportunities, and we're coming into a real time of change in the world. So there's going to be opportunities in every industry, and you need to stay on top of that.
Thank you for your advice, Mr. West. And can you please recommend a book that influenced your journey?
Yeah, sure. So I mentioned earlier, the 4 Hour Workweek was clearly the most influential book. I've written a book myself, and probably a lot of the ideas in my own book echo some of the thoughts that Tim Ferriss had in the 4 Hour Workweek.
Interesting book. Yes, people, please do read that book because it's something else. And Mr. West, why does a lack of recent projects, detailed case studies, or genuine client will be reduce the outcome of the website itself?
Yeah, sure. So people just they don't necessarily trust you. So all those things you mentioned build trust. So authenticity and trust are really the key things these days with selling, and particularly selling your products and service on a website, because anyone can make a website and they can make it look nice and they can make it say the right things. But it's not until other people support that trust can be built, and they're the key drivers for buying decisions oftentimes.
What are the absolute non-negotiable elements a construction website must have in 2025 to convert visitors?
Yeah, sure. So they need to be mobile friendly, and even mobile first design is something to consider. So what I mean by mobile first is when you're designing a website, to think about how it looks on a mobile, even before the PC size, because a lot of people, depending on your market, a lot of people will be looking at your website on their phone, on their cell phone. So that's what I would say is the fundamental backbone. And fast loading, good user experience, uncluttered. Sometimes people jam too many things in a website. Just clean, sophisticated, fast loading, clear message. That'll perform the best.
Yes, and unique, people, for sure. Mr. West, what specific locally focused keywords should contractors prioritize?
Yeah, sure. So keywords are an interesting thing right now with AI. Back in the day, you used to have to say the keyword precisely as you wanted it to rank. But these days, AI can understand the context of what a message is. So no longer can you just think of keywords and just make sure you use them in the right places. You need to think about keywords as topics. So this is the keyword is a topic that you want to cover really well in your website. And that's why I often suggest, if a company has capacity to do so, to have a news or a blog section within their website, so they can start to answer those questions. People are searching for longer phrases as well. As we've become familiar with AI, chat, GPT, or whatever the AI is that you're using, you might search for a full question as opposed to the service name and the suburb. Now it's good, the location. So it's good to mention the location as much as you can in a natural way throughout your website, so Google recognizes where you are. But you've got to keep your content. It's interesting. your content needs to be more human than ever before. And that's because of AI, because it can understand it almost like a human.
Very well said, Mr. West, for sure. Very well said. And why is investing in professional before after photos are simply project walk through videos the highest ROI activity for builders?
Yeah, they definitely are really, really powerful. If people can see what going to achieve at the end goal. Now, someone else's project might be slightly different, but it's an immediate way to showcase capabilities of a company. So they've seen the before, how it looked horrible, whatever it was, and then at the end, and people will immediately look at it and say, right, well, if they can do that for the other company, well, they can probably do something similar for me. So that's the quickest and easiest to show precisely what you can achieve with, whether it be a before and after photograph, as you mentioned, or whether it be a video walkthrough. Visuals, as it says, a picture tells 1,000 words. So, and videos even more so than simple photographs as well. So,
What's a proactive, ethical system for generating genuine Google My Business reviews without annoying clients?
yeah, this is one this is one my clients are often asking, because everyone forgets to manually follow up a client after a project. So often there's a way of just building it into your invoicing system. So when you send out the project invoice, you can have a follow up remittance advice that says, would you mind leaving a Google review? So then you can write it into the sequence automatically. That's an easy way to leverage the invoicing system. But if you've got other people who have more advanced project management systems, so they can add into their sequence of getting a project fulfilled and the checklists the time in which they should request the Google review. Sometimes people will want to filter it a little bit. So if they know a particular client has been hard work, customer has been hard work, then they'll elect not to prompt them for the Google review because they're not confident it will be positive. I mean, yeah, that's another consideration as well. But they're so powerful, aren't they? I'm sure you've found the reviews one of the best things you can do.
What's an effortless email or SMS sequence for following up with website inquiries that doesn't require a marketing team?
Yeah, sure. So I think I mentioned before, I use Go High Level. There's lots of different software out there, and for the construction industry, there's systems specific for them. But most will allow you to create a sequence of email, SMS. It can also, if you have capacity with someone to make a phone call, it can have in the sequence a prompt for reception or whoever the case may be to make that phone call. But the more touch points you can make, the better, because oftentimes like you're selling a higher end price item, like a construction project or whatever the case may be, they're probably going to get a few quotes. So you don't want to be forgotten in that process, and you certainly don't want to be pushy in terms of salesy or anything like that, but you want to be available to make sure they don't forget you and to ensure that they will contact you. I would always say, if you can, in your email sequence, to include a photograph of you as the person in the footer, signature. So once people do talk to you, they almost feel like they know you already. They've seen your photograph. That trust is starting to formulate already. So,
Mr. West, beyond the website, where should contractors showcase their best work daily?
yeah, on a daily basis, one of the easier ones to do is Instagram. So now, high quality photos on your website are important, but on Instagram, it doesn't necessarily need to be as polished. You could your team of workers could potentially be taking photographs of projects as they finish. And the beauty of that, you can do it on your phone, have it go straight to Instagram, have it go to Facebook. And then from the Instagram feed, you can embed into the website. So it's even keeping your website refreshed with those projects on a daily basis. Because a lot of the time, people have good intentions to publish things daily, as you mentioned, but they just will get busy and forget. But if you build little systems where you've got the software on your phone, you take the photograph, you write a little message about that on Instagram, and it goes everywhere else. That's magic.
Totally magic, for sure. And Mr. West, what's your rebuttal to constructors who claim their lack of time, resources for digital, and what's the minimum viable effort?
Yeah, that is a good question. So I don't spend a lot of time trying to persuade people that they need a website, but for those that feel as though there's not enough time, well, that might mean they're too busy. But when you dig down deeper, they haven't got the cash flow as well. So they're obviously spending time on something, but just not profitable things. So there's obviously a gap in their business. So I would say marketing is the key. And like all of us, we can only be good at the certain things we're good at. So outsourcing to a team of professionals, hiring an agency, hiring somebody to do it that you know, like, and trust, who has an understanding of your industry as well. Because otherwise you're spending so much time explaining to them what you actually do. If someone knows approximately what you do, now there'll be a little nuance to any business, but if they know roughly what you do, they specialize in your industry, then you're going to save yourself some time. And that's a big win for any business.
When does it become cost effective for a contractor to hire a specialized marketing versus trying to manage it themselves?
Yeah, it can cause more harm than good sometimes trying to do it yourself, because what you're effectively doing is taking yourself off projects. You want and higher yielding. Whatever you do as a company, that's what makes you the money. You've got to be investing your own time into those high profit items. And when you think about it that way, and you put a value on your own time and what your time might produce in your company, then you can say, right, well, I'm going to make this much money from an hour of my time working in my business on these things. If I just outsource the marketing to someone who can do it, 10 times faster and much better result, well, it just makes logical sense from a return on investment standpoint.
Indeed. And how can contractors leverage the simple AI tools right now to save time and impress clients?
Yeah, that's a really, really interesting one, and something people are often asking about. AI is changing so fast, so I'm even scared to say anything right now, because tomorrow it might change a little bit. But there's so many good things. I would say start on the basics. I use ChatGPT because I love it. There's other similar, but you just get better and better at using it, and it's become so much just like talking to a human. Like, you can instruct it, just type it in. Or I often lie on the sofa here and I just speak into my phone of different conceptual ideas I have, and it's like a brainstorming tool. It'll talk back to me, and it's like having someone to bounce ideas off, because oftentimes a lot of us have business coaches and consultants, and we bounce ideas off them, but the real value is expressing our own thoughts and understanding our own perspectives. So it can be echoed back through AI, as you're thinking of things. That's what I do. So, yeah.
Mr. West, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in 5th season, abstract poetry in 2nd season, and my book 101 review in 5th season too, comedy 101 in 2nd season, and Food 101 in its fifth season as well. Geography 101 fourth season, and My Baby Podcast, Law 101 and Mental Health 101. Love Letters in third season, and Movie 101 Review and Music 101 in its fourth season, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcasts. Mr. West, if a contractor listening has only 1 hour this week to improve their online presence, what's the single task you'd force them to do?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. 1 hour. I mean, it's self-promoting, I know, but they could reach out to me and I could do a website audit for them. That's going to be less than an hour. Well, it might be more than an hour to review the findings that we said. That's free as well, by the way. So you can jump on my website, uplift360.com.au, Australian website. We serve clientele all around the world, so don't worry that we're in Australia. That's no problem. That's an easy one. But the other thing would be you could reach out to other people as well for an audit of your social media. As we said before, it's best to get specialist knowledge. So reach out and even get some proposals of experts, maybe get a copywriter to review the content of your marketing brochures. And I would say just speak to a bunch, if you've only got an hour, speak to a bunch of experts in different fields and see what you might be able to implement.
Mr. Wes Towers, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So can you please invite our listeners again to support your business, your advocacy, or any projects that you are doing right now?
Sorry, what was that?
Can you please invite our listeners to support your business itself?
Yeah, sure. Well, just if you Google Uplift 360, uplift360.com.au, you'll find that. If you search for me on Amazon, you'll find my book as well. It was written 10 years ago, but it's still got some relevant things in there. But yeah, the best way to engage, go to uplift360.com.au. You'll find my social media and everything on there as well, so we can connect through the social platforms.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Wes Towers, because if you support him, more and more and more empowering construction business to come. So, Mr. Wes, thank you so much for your time.
Fantastic, Daniel. It's been wonderful.
More to come, people. See you soon.